things to do. Usually every year, our Friends of the Library group has a giant book sale, and they haven't had it for about 3 or 4 years, so books have been piling up in their storage building. So they decided to have it this year, and every year that they have it, I go. I don't usually go on the first night. It's for members only. I'm not a member right now. I used to be a member. But anyway, I am going. I don't know what it is about books. I love books. Who else loves books? I do love a good book sale. What did I find at the book sale? I found lots of books. I always go to these book sales looking for, of course, areas of interest: dogs, horses. I look for books from my brother on photography. I look for books, basically I just look around and see if I find any books that I think my friends, family might want. And then, of course, I look for me. I'm always hoping that one of these days I'm going to find like a Miriam Haskell jewelry book, or, some of the other collectible jewelry books, the Juliana books, those, but I have yet to find any. I did find some collector's books. Some of them I left behind, like the Lefton China books, simply because Lefton is marked, and an online search will usually bring up pretty much anything that I need to look up. So I don't need a bunch of books that I'm not going to use sitting on the counter. So let me turn the camera around and we'll take a look at the books that I found. I am generally not a reseller of books. I buy books that I want to keep, but I did go ahead and look up a lot of these simply because should I want to sell them, and for the purpose of this video, people might be wanting to resell books. There were a lot of people at the book sale with their little scanners scanning every single book in the place, and I'm just not interested that much in selling books, although there are a few in here that I might consider. Mostly, I really like to find these old, beautiful books here for decorating. I have a vintage style in decorating, and these stacked up on a mantle or something look really wonderful. I also am considering starting to read some books online, possibly a new YouTube channel, I'm not sure. But to avoid copyright or royalty issues, I'm looking for older books that are in the public domain. So I'm always keeping my eye out, especially for children's books that might be in the public domain. And yes, I do know about the Gutenberg Press, but I like to sit down with a real book rather than reading from a computer screen. Just something about the turning of the pages and just the coziness of having a real book in hand. So anyway, getting on to the books. Just in case you were wondering, I didn't get the book about farts. I have a couple of odd ones, like this one over here, the Meat Buyer's Guide. This one is one that I actually did purchase for resale because they do sell for around $30 or $40. I live on a ranch. We raise cattle. I know this is kind of an important book for some people, so I will probably sell that one. Then I did find some antique and collectibles books just for looking up, just for general knowledge basically, time periods and certain names of different types of things and furniture styles and glass. So these, having one or two of these around is kind of a nice thing. That one was a more expensive one because we pay by the inch of the spine thickness. So it was $1.50 an inch, but still, when you think about it, it's still a good deal. I think I spent around $30 on all of the books, so I can't complain. Then I did buy a couple of jeweler's books. I've been looking for a good reference guide on gemstones, and I saw this there. So I went ahead and I picked this up for my jewelry reference guides. Then we have another collectible, Antiques and Collectibles book, another reference guide. This is a nice, once again, nice reference for looking at styles, and it's kind of like a dictionary, so you kind of have to know what you're looking for in order to access it or access the information. But when you don't have Google handy and you want to just flip through something while you're sitting on the couch and learn a little bit about new things, this is another good thing to have. Another reference book, Antiques Roadshow Primer, and this one talks more about quality and what things and types of things to look for. I'm not too familiar with this book, but I'm looking forward to glancing it over. Then I did inherit a lot of souvenir spoons and sterling silver, so I decided to grab this one to look at a lot of the popular patterns. Now, like I said, most of this can be found online now, so some might say that these books are a little obsolete, but I don't know, I like to have them on hand to look through, because sometimes there's information in here that is not easily found online. Now, getting to the lovelies. So this is just a beautiful collection of old books. There were a lot of old books there, and not a whole lot of people were looking at the old books, so I was kind of surprised about that. This is The World of Jewel Stones, and it's an older book. It doesn't have that big of a value, but it's written in kind of a narrative style, and I started looking through it and reading, and it was entertaining as well as informative. And I do have a niece who is very much into gemstones and such. She does beautiful jewelry work, and I might end up giving this book to her. She also likes history, so that might be a fun book to give to her. Okay, now these books, most of them date into the early 1900s. I think the oldest of these books is dated 1881, and that would be this one right here. Anything by Robert Louis Stevenson that's this old has got to have some value, and this is no exception. So that one, I don't know if I will end up selling. The dust jacket is kind of in bad shape, but the fact that it has its dust jacket being that old is pretty impressive. Now, if you do sell books, like I said, I am not known as a bookseller, but I do know that book collectors are very particular. They want really good condition, they want firm spines, they want no damage, no writing, no. And a book this old, it's also kind of a specific market. You've got to find the right person looking for the right book. Old books can sit for years without a buyer, and some of them, first editions of popular books will probably go quickly, but a lot of these old ones either don't sell or they sit for a long time, but I'm not opposed to that. So we've got The Art of Living, we've got Family Studies of Men and Books Criticisms. This is another Robert Louis Stevenson book. This one is dated 1925, and I did find some solds on that for about $60, so that was a nice book find. Then this one, The Edwardian Story. This was written in 1949, and it's I almost didn't get it, and then I started reading it, and it is kind of a memoir of this gentleman, Shaw Desmond, who apparently was a renowned author back in the day. But anyway, it's his kind of commentary on the Edwardian period, and I was amused while reading parts of it. And he was talking about, the moderns, and he was kind of snarky and kind of tongue-in-cheek, and I think this will be a fun one to read. Then we have an old copy of Christmas Carol, always nice to hand. I don't think this one has a publisher's date on it, so you know it's an older copy. This is just a beautiful little book. I think they made a movie out of this, The Great K&A Train Robbery. It was published in 1897 and just has a beautiful cover. Might be one that I could read out loud and publish online. And the rest of these, oh, this one is kind of a rarity. I couldn't find this one much online at all. It's Being a Boy by Warner, and it's kind of a, tribute to boys. It was written in 1905, and it has an inscription to Fenwick. I love the names. This was given to Fenwick in Christmas of 1968. The Grindstone of Life, some of the chapters are pretty funny. The Season of Pumpkin Pie, The Lonely Farmhouse, The Heart of New England. That might be a fun one to read as well. The rest of these, Printed English Bible. This is a very old one. And The Great Companion, Robert French Levins. Oh, this is a book. It's a collection of essays or speeches written by various prominent people. It says readings on the meaning and conduct of life from ancient and modern sources. So there's comments from all types of people from all walks of life in here, from Maria Montessori to Robert Scott to Marcus Aurelius to some Persian poet, some Greek authors. That is also a consideration for reading online. And then over here we have a collection of English kind of grammar books written by Sherwin Cody. Some of these little books will sell upwards of $15 to $20 each. As a set, oddly enough, they don't sell that high, but they're cute little books. I'm glad I bought the whole set. I actually went to the sale twice because I had bought one of these, and then I saw online that they were actually a set, and so I went back and I found the others. So I have all 6 of them. So it's Grammar, Story Writing, and Journalism, How and What to Read, Word Study, Dictionary of Errors in Composition. And getting out of the old books, of course I had to get the Gooseberry Patch Instapot cookbook. Sorry, the purists don't like us calling it the Instant Pot cookbook. I love a good cookbook that has pictures. So I always say that I want to know what it's supposed to look like. So I want a picture of the recipe when it's done. So we'll do that. I do like my Instant Pot. And then the last book that I bought, actually not the last, I have that Encyclopedia of Glass, which is just another reference book from Sotheby's about glass from ancient times to modern. The last book here is just a giant picture book about Fabergé eggs. I'm not quite sure why I got this other than the Easter is coming up, and I do decorate with books sometimes, and this is a beautiful, beautiful picture book showing the Fabergé eggs. I showed this to my daughter and she laughed. She's like, "Why'd you get that?" She had just recently watched Ocean's 11 and I'm like, well, it's just a pretty book. There we have it. So those are all the books that I bought. Let me know in the comments. Are you a book collector? Do you like to decorate with books? I actually look through all of my books quite regularly. And like I said, I do love to decorate with them. I almost forgot to show you my favorite book. This one I picked up at the book sale too. It's called Vintage Vavoom. Kind of has a dumb name, but it's a beautiful book. This is so me. I decorate in a vintage style, romantic. This is from the editors of Romantic Homes magazine, which was one of my favorite magazines along with Victoria from way back when. Anyway, this, I've already started reading it and it's wonderful. So if you're looking for a fun book that has lots of vintage decor, really nice, really nice book. So what'd you think? How do you like the books? I really enjoyed my time over the book sale, and I already can't wait to see if they do it again next year. that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great week.